So it's the start of March, spring has come in and winter is now on its way out. And after such a crazy period, after a cold winter, you could be still in that same routine, those same sluggish mornings, and the same sense that you're just behind before you've even started because you've been telling yourself that it's winter, that the short days are just a reason you can't focus, that you're feeling low, your energy is low because of the season. You're shrugging your shoulders, you're scrolling your phone. You just tell yourself that, you know what, when spring comes round, when the days are longer, when the weather's better, then I'll get to it. But it's not the season, it's not the cold. What it is that you've allowed that inertia, that passivity, and you've allowed those low level habits to calcify while the world around you just kept moving. And the result is 3-4 months into the year, you're still paying the price. Your energy isn't a gift of spring. When the sun starts coming out, your energy doesn't just all of a sudden appear back. Your momentum, it isn't delivered by a calendar. Your focus, it isn't something that returns magically with the sun. What you're feeling is a cost of neglecting yourself over the last few months. Your routines, your priorities. Ask yourself, how long are you going to let your life be run by the seasons, by that inertia disguised as winter? How long will you drift through your own potential, waiting for motivation just to appear like a guest at your front door? Welcome to Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. This is an episode to help you get from stuck to unstoppable. It's a short, actionable podcast to help you shift your mindset, master your mindset so you can master your life. I'm Sanj and I'm your coach to help you on your journey from stuck to unstoppable. If you get something from this episode, drop me a DM at just.live.coaching or drop a message in the Facebook community, Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. Let me know what your biggest takeaways were, what action you're committing to, and how, if you implement it, how it changes your life, and share this with someone who you know who would benefit from hearing this. This episode is not about motivation, it's about intervention. It's about seeing the life that you've allowed to stagnate over the winter. And this is going to help you take those first steps to reset your energy, your focus, and your productivity. So let's just talk about why it's so common to have your energy crash over the winter. And it's not because it's cold, because it's your routines, your habits, your focus. Those patterns have decayed because over Christmas, over December, oh yeah, it's December, I'll start fresh in January. In January, oh, it's cold. Oh, it's not the right time. And what you do is you allow that mental clutter, all those low level decision fatigue, and just your behaviors, those passive behaviors to compound. Imagine this, your mental clutter, all those unfinished tasks, your unresolved conversations, your deferred decisions. Yeah, all of that builds mental fog. What it does is it steals attention from what matters. And then by the time March rolls around, you're just trapped in this haze of what ifs. Yeah, and oh yeah, I should have done this. And then you've got the physical neglect. Yeah, your inconsistent sleep, which happens in December with all the parties, with the late nights, with all the celebrating. Yeah, you got the skip movement because the weather's bad, so you don't want to go out. You're not looking after yourself as much. The poor nutrition, again, Christmas is a great excuse. They don't just sap your energy, they suppress your clarity, your focus, your motivation. And then finally is your behavioral passivity. And this is where, when it's winter, you do what's easy rather than what's important. You start getting into a habit of checking emails, scrolling your feeds, binge watching shows, just as small, safe actions that reward you with that cheap dopamine, while it's eroding all that momentum that you had built up last year. These patterns, these routines are not invisible, they're familiar, they're lived. You feel them every day and they're controllable. But the problem is, to control them, it requires recognition first. After recognition, you require discomfort, Then you need clarity. And finally, you need action. And this is where most people struggle. This is where they fail, fall down, because they try to push harder without understanding the underlying structures that are draining their energy and productivity. And that's why a lot of New Year's reset strategies fail. They tackle the symptoms rather than the system. So, what you need to start changing things, you need to start doing things differently. So, first, you need to become aware what is draining that energy, what is draining your focus. Because when you start to name it, that is a first act of control. Then you need to choose a clear boundary, one that changes, one clear boundary or change that will immediately reduce that drain. And finally, you need to decide who you're going to become, and you need to start aligning your actions, aligning those routines that agree and which identify with that. Because where you stop on that ladder, awareness, the behavioral integrity, or the identity commitment, that tells you where your current standard is. If you stop at the awareness, you're still in those old patterns. If you stop at the behavior change, you're still serious, but you're cautious. But if you reach the identity commitment, that's when you reset at a structural level. So here are 5 practical identity aligned ways to help you reset energy and productivity after winter. Number 1 is the mental declutter. So start with your mind, because when you start with your mind, it's easy to then move on to the next part, because the clutter you're carrying, it isn't abstract. It's real, it's measurable, and it's corrosive. So number 1 is your mental declutter. Recognize, write down every task, every obligation, and every unresolved situation that's been weighing on you. And be ruthless with it. If it triggers guilt, if it triggers resentment, procrastination, it should go on that list. Number 2 is discomfort. Look at that list. Feel the weight of it. How does it make you feel? Most of it isn't urgent. Most of it probably doesn't serve your energy or your focus. But feeling that discomfort when you look at that list, that's part of the clarity. 3, clarity. Decide what can be resolved, what can be delegated, or what can be eliminated. What mental load are you carrying that belongs to someone else? What mental load are you carrying that you don't need to be carrying? And number 4, agency. Set one immediate action. Resolve to delegate one item today, not tomorrow, today. Notice a line between awareness and action. And that line is where your energy starts to return to you. Because if you don't do this, if your mental fog, it compounds, that low level anxiety, it persists, that motivation, it erodes. Action 2 is a physical reset. So your body is the engine. So a sluggish mind often reflects in a neglected body. Again, assess your sleep, your movement, your nutrition. Be honest with yourself. How many nights did you get less than 7 hours sleep? How long has it been since you've moved intentionally, done a proper workout? How often do you eat foods that drain your energy or give you energy? Feeling your lethargy, it isn't a shame movement. It's not to make you feel bad. It's an alarm to wake you up. It's to know, so you can no longer ignore those slumps. It's got to get you. You've got to wake yourself up before you can start changing things. So choose one physical thing you can do daily. Move daily, adjust your sleep, or reset your nutrition habits. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't go for all 3 of them. Just go one at a time. Choose one lever and do that action today. Again, act immediately, because all of this, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. If you can do it right now, do it right now. Go out for a walk. Do a 5-minute workout. Do something. Adjust your bedtime tonight. Eat a protein-rich breakfast. Something that signals to your body and your mind that your change is non-negotiable. Number 3 is your behavior recalibration. Again, This is where you need to start to, your routines, they're the blueprint of your energy. And if they're broken, your momentum will never materialize. So make sure you're mapping your daily routines, identify your wasted time, your reactive behaviors, and all those default actions that actually give nothing back to you. Notice of how little of your day is actually spent on those high leverage tasks. Yeah, again, that discomfort, sitting with that discomfort, that's honesty. Yeah, so then decide one routine to eliminate or replace. Your morning scroll, replace it with 20 minutes of reading. Yeah, that bedtime gaming, that bedtime TV. Why don't you read a book, learn something new? Replace it with journaling or planning. And again, implement today. One shift, no excuses. All these routines will compound. Number 4, your relationship and energy audit. Energy isn't just physical, it is not just mental, it's social. It's who you spend your time with, the energy they demand, whether it lifts you or drains you. So identify the relationships and the interactions that you're consistently having. Identify the ones that drain your energy or they induce stress. Notice how often you give without receiving and you react without reflection. Yeah, think about how many of those relationships are low value interactions and decide on a boundary that you're going to start to input, one that you're going to set so you limit that exposure when you assert a need or remove some toxicity. Yeah, again, act today, send that message, schedule that conversation, step back intentionally, do something that indicates that you are no longer willing to accept this. And number 5 is identity level commitment. And this is the highest level because reset isn't just behavior, it's identity. Who do you want to be in this year, in this season? Acknowledge your current identity and where it's misaligned. Yeah, feel how that no longer resonates with you, how it makes you feel, how much tension it brings, how it's uncomfortable. Yeah, then decide one identity level boundary or behavior. You are the person who prioritizes energy and focus over distraction. Yeah, and lock that in. Align one daily habit. When you start to do this, when you start to actually see that these small things that you've neglected over the winter because you said now isn't the time, it's the inertia you allowed, the routines you've tolerated, the distractions you've indulged. So when you start resetting your energy and productivity, it's structural intervention. And now you've got 5 levers to pull on, 5 ways you can do it. Yeah, the only question is, how much are you going to input this? Are you going to listen to this and then ignore it? Or are you willing to start taking that action today and see how much your life changes? Where you stop is where your current standard lives. Yeah, where you go to the next level, that's when you're willing to draw the line. Yeah, that's where you stop drifting and you start to master your mindset so you can master your life. Remember, you are someone who can step into commanding their energy, defining your focus, and structuring your life intentionally. That identity, it isn't aspirational, it's immediate. You know exactly what this episode exposed. Yeah, that slump that you're blaming on seasonal, on the seasons, on the weather, on just it not being a good time. It's structural. It's a life you're tolerating. And if you do nothing, yeah, you will drift. You'll end up resenting yourself, end up regrets. Time either leaves you with results or regrets. You do not want to be left with regrets. So if this resonated with you, if this gave you that push that you needed to start taking action, let me know what your biggest takeaways were. DM me at just.live.coaching or drop a message in the Facebook community for Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. Share the action you're going to commit to today. No excuses. Don't delay and start taking action today. Remember what this work is about. It's about breaking those patterns. It's about restoring your self-leadership. It's about you choosing alignment over approval. Thank you.